Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, and today we're going to talk about when is it worth just scrapping it and when is it worth fixing. And what am I talking about? It could be any piece of equipment you have. Today I did a short video on the Husqvarna 353, and this is the Pro version. It's a really nice saw, and in this case the bolts that hold the muffler on, one of them stripped out, okay? And it had gone, we're the third shop to look at this and try to figure out what to do. The first shop said it wasn't worth fixing and to buy a new one. And when you're looking at $700 to $1,000, it's a pretty good chunk of change, right? So the second shop we went to felt that they could do a helicoil. And I think what ended up at this shop, they made a mistake and possibly over drilled it with too big of a bit and not the right helicoil. I mean, things happen, things get busy and stuff like that. But it only lasted the customer a couple days before the helicoil pulled right out. So that didn't work. So he came to us and he wanted to know if there was anything that we could do to remedy his chainsaw and having to go buy a new one. And I told him, I said, give me a day to think about this. So I did some research and I found on eBay aftermarket jugs that would fit this saw here. And the cost to buy the jug with the piston, rings, and the ended up being right around 42, 43 bucks. So I told him, I said that the best advice I can give you, considering the saw, is let's take a chance on picking up an aftermarket cylinder with the top end, okay? And that would solve your muffler bolt issues because it'd be brand new, okay? So we ended up, when I got into it, I also found that there was a boot that had a crack in it. So I told him we need to replace that while we're right there. So I ordered that as well, and the end result was we turned around and within an hour's labor, 20 minutes tear down and 40 minutes to put it back together, the customer is going to walk out with a running saw for under 150 bucks. And if you guys are do-it-yourselfers, there's no reason why you can't do this. There are a few tools that are nice to have, and one is you're going to have a way to compress those rings to get it up into the unit. I bought this set quite a number of years ago off from Sten's, and I don't know if this is still a good part number, but it's a ring compression kit. It's a 751-045, and it covers quite a few different ones, and this is the one that I used to compress the rings, and you can squeeze them together and then just slide your jug down over top of your rings and it will slide from here right into the jug. If you don't have something like this, you're going to have problems trying to get that to compress the rings, okay, to get it up into the jug. But I would imagine there's probably replicas, aftermarkets of even this kit, and I don't think this kit was that expensive to begin with. So that's the only specialty tool that we used, was this. The rest of it was everything that you'd find in your toolbox, you know, to replace stuff. So the big question comes, how do you know when to fix and when not to fix? It all depends on the saw. You know, Jason, maybe you could help us out here. I look at like the Poulons, the low end stuff that are usually not worth fixing. But when you start stepping up into the Steels, the Husqvarnas, the John Surretts, you know, the higher brands, especially if you're working with a Pro version, that it starts becoming economical. I know that a couple different loggers that are friends of mine, that they rebuild their own. And they figure so many hours on that saw, and they've got a couple rebuild kits ahead already sitting on the shelf. And when they come in to get warm, being out in the cold, they'll sit down and tear a saw down and put a brand new jug on it, top end. This didn't need to have a top end because it had low compression. It needed a top end because of the bolts. But this would hold true if you did a compression test on it and you were getting low compression. You could order just the rings, but at $42 for the whole thing, with the rings and the piston, it's kind of a why not, right? Now, some of you had mentioned, I think you, Jason, that some of these, you got to be careful with the aftermarkets because sometimes they don't line up. This one here fit like a glove. I'm not afraid of the aftermarkets. You know, I've been dealing with the aftermarkets for 20 plus years, and the two bigger ones are Stens and Rotary, and I give them both A pluses for good companies and good products, okay? So if you see something on their site that you want and you're not a dealer, you sign up, become a dealer if you have your own tax IDs and all that stuff and you have a physical location. Or if you're an individual, there's a lot of guys that are still selling Stens and Rotary stuff on eBay and Amazon. Does that have the same idea when it comes to like the bigger engines, lawnmower engines and stuff? And that's usually not the case, because now you're talking major, you know, you're not talking just a small jug like this. A lot of times it's a lot more complicated. Is it still cheaper than a new one? Most times, yes. You know, it's just like with you, Amos, where you found a chassis that was in really great shape, but the engine was bad, and it was worth going out and buying an engine and installing that engine. That in itself is, you're thinking smart. You know, you got into almost a brand new machine, body wise, brand new motor with a warranty, and for probably a heck of a lot less than you could buy that unit at wherever the dealer was selling it. We used to do a lot of engine rebuilds, refreshes, you know, 10, 15 years ago. Actually, that was probably half our work. And we had engines tore apart everywhere, ordering parts in and getting them done, you know, whether it needed a short block, you know, what have you. But it's changed. The horizon has changed where us guys that are repairing them and then charging the customer to do it is starting to get cost prohibitive, okay? If anything, I think that if you're a do-it-yourselfer or a homeowner, when it comes to this, it's a no-brainer. And even if you're somebody that has a saw like this and you got a repair shop that you have faith in, bring it to their attention that, look, Eric told me that if you buy a jug, it comes with a piston, comes with the rings, and for about an hour's time, we can get that running like brand new. Not all shops are willing to use aftermarkets. Now, if I went through Husqvarna and bought this jug, I'm probably looking at, you guys correct me because I don't have it in front of me, but would I dare say that this would be like 150, 200 bucks? And a lot of times they don't come with the piston and rings. You're buying the jug. That's it. So if you are dead set against used aftermarkets, then it starts raising the cost. This saw here is a homeowner's. He's got the pro version, but it's a homeowner's, and he uses it just to cut firewood with. He's not out there every day slaying trees and laying them on the ground. He is what I call a weekend warrior. And this saw with this fix will probably outlast him. So in the comments, you guys that are doing it like our shop, would you do the rebuild with an aftermarket? And if not, why not? Because I know some of you guys are diehard OEMs. You know, I think highly of the OEMs. But if there's a way I can save my customer money and not jeopardize the quality of the work, why not? That's how I look at it at this shop. But with any repairs, the way I do it is I leave it up to the customer. I give the customer options. Here's option A, B, or C. A is we can go with OEM, this is what it's going to cost. B, we can go with aftermarkets, that's what it's going to cost. C, we're going to stop and you go buy a brand new saw and then just keep this one for parts for your next one. And hopefully the muffler bolts don't strip out on it. On that note, you guys have a great day. Leave in the comments what you think. I did a short on this, and you'll see that today sometime too. Today is Monday. And I also put up a video on what we have coming into the shop, or the stuff that was here this morning, and what we're working on to keep ourselves busy. Hopefully you guys are seeing some business if you have a repair shop. And for you guys that are do-it-yourselfers, you know, if there's something that you have a question about, you know, I may not have the answers because I don't know everything. But the nice thing about this channel is there are a lot of people here that are a hell of a lot more qualified than me that will give you an answer and don't mind helping each other out. You know, the best thing about this channel is the camaraderie that we all have and the friendships that we've developed since I started this channel, and I value those highly. If you haven't subscribed or liked this video, please do it for me. That's all I ask. That just helps YouTube say, okay, he's worth showing it to another 2 people. You guys have a great day.